We all have that one deck we love to play, but sometimes it just can't keep up anymore. In this series, we break down what's working, what's holding the deck back, and where smart upgrades can make the biggest difference. We're focusing on consistency, power, and matchups in the current meta. No rebuilding from scratch, just clean, efficient improvements. Let's tune this deck and see how far it can really go. Welcome to Deck Tuning. What's up, guys? We're back again with another deck tuning episode. Today, we're going to be taking a look at Enneacraft, this deck that is a sleeper in the format that I feel like right now. This deck has a lot of capability being merged with other decks, such as Mimigal, as you're seeing currently, or such as Subterror, or any other flip-based deck. While I'll be bringing to you guys today two decks and what I think is probably the more fun or roguish variants that I've seen that really catch you offhand, because you don't really know what to expect with this deck, whether it be pure or another variant. This deck has a lot of capability, from burning you, causing you to send your board or destroy your board, flip effects, or being able to banish as well. Like, this deck has a lot of capability to further grow as a actual mainstay issue for a actual deck. But let's go ahead and hop right into this, where we are going to go over the first deck. So this first deck, of course, is the Enneacraft Mimigal deck. This deck is a lot of fun. I play it personally, while not at this variant, because my variant's a little bit more different, because I incorporate the books of Tayus. I actually utilize my extra deck if needed, to where I can utilize the Mimigals for a little bit more back and forth. The Mimigals do offer this deck a lot of capability here, especially with the Mimigal Dungeon, to prevent your opponent from really playing the game, as long as you hand them a Mimigal. The other thing is that the Enneapolis spell does not really care whose actual main or whose end phase it is when that burn goes off. So if they're flipping during their turn, you're going to at least get some burn damage in there during their end phase, as long as Enneapolis is on the board. The main thing that I do look towards this deck for further improvements is probably working in more ways to get these extra deck cards into the graveyard, rather than just using them as Pot of Extravagance fodder. The one way I would think about is running 3 Dogmatic Punishment, but once again, that kind of gets tricky and gets really messy on the whole deck end. Now, the one thing that I will state overall is that this deck is still really fun to play. I don't think I've had more fun of just setting 5, hand my opponent a dragon, and passing. Like, legitimately, they flip the dragon, or they're like, oh, okay, I'm going to use this. Well, if you're going to use it, you're going to have to flip it. Oh, okay. Well, you activate monster effect. Well, I'm going to flip that for you. Let's see how that goes. Or I got a Mimigal Dungeon up on the board along with the Enneacrafts, and really pairs very well. This deck does have a lot of back and forth. The Book of Eclipses give it that extra oomph if you need to get over a problematic card or cards on the board that need to be flipped face down so you can start your plays. But it also gives you a lot of inboard capability to search or really work with your deck. While if you can normal summon the dragon, you can search the Mimical Maker. If you use the dungeon, you can search Master to get the dragon. You have a lot of ways to your engine pieces as you need fit, or as you need and as you see fit. This deck does give you so much option and capability for interaction as well, from Sol and Luna to Rebirth to Book of Eclipse to all the Enneacraft effects, whether it be popping, shuffling back 3, banishing a card, ripping a card out of the hand, flipping your opponent's monsters face down. The best part about this is that Mimigal Master pairs so well with this deck, because you can flip as a quick effect your Atori Mar, which usually can't be activated during your turn until your turn. So if your opponent is like, oh, I'm going to activate this effect. Okay, Chain Mimical Master, flip Atori Mar as the target. You have that full board capability to where you can actually go and do that, because you're not even targeting a monster. You are just changing one. So they still wouldn't know what you're targeting, but they would assume more than likely it'd be a Torimar. Or if you need to do a quick effect protect, you can do that through Astapixia or Arctail dependent. This deck does offer up so much and furthermore capability. Now, if you do get stuck with monsters in face-up attack position, and you can't really flip them, you do have a bunch of level 1s, and you can go into Ripplebird. Ripplebird has the fun option of While all monsters you control are in attack position, they gain 500 attack. Okay, you paired that with Dungeon and Dragon, and if you've already got Dungeon to where it gives Dragon the 2500 attack boost, that puts him to 3k, makes him easier to beat over. The other thing is while all monsters you control are in defense, your opponent can't declare an attack. Ripplebird sets up a little bit of extra protection. Now, the other things that you can run as well is Mimigul or Giant Mimigul, which basically gives you the access to add a Mimigul card from your deck to your hand when it's Xyz summon. So yes, you do have to get 2 level 1s out on the board, but that's usually not that hard if you're looking to normal summon or really interact with your opponent. This does take a couple turns to set up, so don't worry, because you're not really going to be killing them if you're going this route, but it's there as a backup in case you can't flip your monsters or summon them face down, because there are trap cards, especially I think it's Light of Release or Light of Restraint, that prevents you from summoning in face down defense position. Now, if you do get one of these Xyz monsters to stick around, you do have the access of going into Down Nerd and then into Zeus, or you can set up another rank 1, which is Ensemble Robin, which can give you an extra bounce. This card can further interact and give you a bit of an interesting interaction to where your opponent has to think about what they're going to do, or it's going to be bounced back. Now, the other thing as well is, since that you're playing a lot of the extra deck stuff, if they try to rip anything out of your extra deck, it's not going to affect you any. This deck doesn't really utilize its extra deck all that much. We're just playing it just in case. Either way, this deck is still so much fun to actually break down and look at and play, to where if you're running this and your opponent's like, oh yeah, I'm going to rip your extra deck apart. Okay, go ahead. I don't have a use for it. Like, I can still set up burn with all the EC counters I get for my 2 pendulum monsters that are in the pendulum zone and everything that's flip face up. Okay. The other thing that I would say for sideboard for this is, if you're not looking to run Book of Eclipse, you can run Daruma Karma Cannon, which can help by getting rid of towers, flipping your opponent's monsters face down, all that good stuff. So it becomes more of an initial problem for your opponent to really interact with and out. Now, while this deck has a lot of capability, there are still a lot of ways in which you can edit this to really work well. You can take out the Book of Eclipses, put in 2 Nibiru or 3 Nibiru. You can up Soul and Luna to 3. You can cut a Reverse to 2. You can cut one of the Inato to 1. You can cut that down to 1. You can cut the Mimical package in general and run pure. This deck has a lot of capability to be modified and grown. That's the one thing that I really enjoy about this deck, because there's not one single way of playing it. You could actually just smokescreen into a completely different engine if you wanted to. But do note that that does give you a little bit more weakness depending on the variant that you play. But that's all that I really have to say about this version. Let's hop right in to our second deck, which I think you guys are going to get a real kick out of. Alright, as for our second deck, we're looking more into the Enneacraft Subterror build. The Subterrors are a lot more fun, a lot more control-based. They are flip effects to basically where if you flip Subterror Guru, you can add 1 Subterror card from your deck to your hand. Doesn't have to be specifically a monster, so if you want to run some of the traps, you can. This deck has the capability of, hey, you can target one other face-up monster on the field and change it to face-down defense position. It's a quick effect if you control another Subterror. That's very beneficial. But the other thing that you got to look at this is that we can run Umastrix. Umastrix, you can target a monster your opponent controls and banish it. It's not bouncing, it's not destruction, it's banishing. And also with that 2700 defense, it can help out greatly. You can also special summon it freely face down, given the effect that basically if you control no face-up monsters, you can special summon it face down. The other thing is that you can special summon 1 monster face down with any of the Enneacraft monster effects. So you can special summon Subterror Guru or Umastrix from your hand in face down defense position anyways. So it gives you that little interaction that way as well. While this deck does not interact as well as the Mimical one does, it does offer up a lot more capability. So you can cut the imperms, run more hand traps. You can up it to 60 cards and run a heavier Subterror package. You can run anything from like Pot of Extravagance and an actual well flushed out extra deck to nothing. You can run more Floodgates. This deck has a lot more capability because you don't have to really run the Book of Eclipses to really go into those plays. This deck does offer much more capability to function around and set up those heavy defenders, but also set up further board breakers as well. From Umastrix, from Banishing to Tori Mar, to be able to actually just flip your opponent's board all face down, to the Hidden City, being able to search you a Subterror monster and then change a face down defense position Subterror monster to face up so you can trigger off that Umastrix or Guru that you just summoned. It gives you that capability. Now, the one other thing that I will state is that Subterrors have a lot more other cards that they can actually utilize, whether it be Fiendus as a actual negation. You can run 3 Fiendus as a negate hand trap for the actual deck. While you don't have to normal summon it, you can still utilize it. The other one you can run is Ultramaphus, because you can change all other face-up monsters on the field to face-down defense position when it's flipped face-up, which becomes a bigger problem for your opponent. Or, the other card that you can run is Subterror Succession. You can activate one of these effects, send one monster from your hand or face-up field to the graveyard, and if you do, add one flip monster from your deck to your hand with the same attribute but a different name as the monster sent to the graveyard. Or, you can send one flip monster from your hand or face-up field to the graveyard, and if you do, add one monster from your deck to your hand with the same attribute but original, with a lower original level than that monster. So you can send a Arctail to add, well, I would say you could add a Nado, but they are different attributes. But you get the point. Because, sorry, popping over here. So, yeah, so you could basically go, okay, we're going to send, what is it? Umastrix can't really utilize that effect, but you can still search off of the first effect to where you're going to be sending a face-up monster at a flip with the same attribute but a different name. So you can send one of the Enctos or the Ectos, the Anados, the Duftero or Protos. You can send those and search the other. You can send a Leon for an Arctail or an Arctail for a Pixia or vice versa. It gives you so much more capability to really interact during your opponent's turn, but also give you the capability of further playing through stuff. The other thing is that you can run Burrowing, which can allow you to banish a Subterror from your graveyard and then make it to where monsters you control cannot be destroyed by card effects, and your opponent cannot target them with card effects. If this card on the field is destroyed by a card effect, you can add a Subterror monster from your deck to your hand. You can banish this card from your graveyard, target one Subterror monster you control, and change it to face down defense position, which can further help you out greatly nonetheless. But, like I was saying, this deck has a lot of capability to further grow as a actual main staple for the deck or as its own. While these decks do function better as their own decks, or can function better as engines for the other, these do offer great options. Anyways, that's all I really have for today's video. If you guys did like today's video, please feel free to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one.